Why is it that every time you're about to enjoy the sweet, sweet embrace of sleep, your head hits the pillow, but you end up staying awake and thinking about all the shameful, guilty, and embarrassing moments that you've ever experienced over your entire life? What if I told you that your mind is trying to accomplish three very important tasks by having you remember all of these shameful, guilty, and embarrassing memories, but you just don't know what to do with it? All of these processes, emotions, and things that happen inside of our brain serve a very important and particular purpose, but somehow along the way, whether it was through childhood, shame, or judgment by others, we learn how to address these things in ways that are just not helpful at all, oftentimes fighting against our own mind instead of working with what your brain is trying to accomplish. Shameful and guilty memories, that staring at the ceiling all night and not being able to fall asleep, is no different. Your mind is trying to do something very important, something that will help keep you alive and help you get better, but you always fight against it. So let's get into what your brain is actually trying to do. When you're going to bed, when you're going to sleep, we know that your brain transitions into a sleeping kind of consciousness. The most important difference between waking consciousness and sleeping consciousness in this context is that the critical and thinking part of your brain turns off. And so the only part that's left processing and operating are the parts that keep your lungs and heart beating and your emotions and your story. So all your memories are still there, all your emotions, all your stories are still there, but the part that thinks, the part that talks, the part that analyzes stuff, it's gone. So what that means for you is that when you're about to fall asleep, you no longer have the piece of your brain that pushes information out of your mind. It's this part of your brain that helps you push away anything that you don't want to think about. All that repression, suppression, pushing things down, as we call it, that comes from this part of your brain, which turns off when you sleep. So it makes sense that going to bed is the time of your day when you are the most likely to remember all of the things that you don't want to be remembering. When you're awake, you can focus on things, focus on work, focus on your job, focus on TikTok and TV, whatever it is that you use to distract yourself. But when all those distractions stop and this part of your brain turns off, you have nothing left to get in the way of you remembering all the stuff that your brain wants you to remember, but now you just can't stop thinking about it. So that sounds terrible. Why would your brain want to do this to you? Well, it serves three very important purposes, and I'm going to go over them here and then tell you what you can do about them. Number one, we have to talk about is rehearsal. This comes very much from my work and many other people's work with trauma. When we experience a particularly emotional event, something unsettling in the negative way, our brain will try and rehearse that event over and over and over again in the hopes that by rehearsing it consistently and continuously, that we will never make that same mistake again. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, if you keep something on the forefront of your mind all the time and replay it over and over and over again, you're probably not going to forget about it. And you're more likely to remember not to do that thing the next time you get into a situation that's similar. Now, the problem with that, though, is with that rehearsal also comes the rehearsal of all the negative feelings that came along with it. So it ends up becoming trapped inside of your brain. You're supposed to rehearse it so you can understand what happened and then process it and let it go so it can become a part of your long-term memory. Trauma is very funny. It kind of short circuits the brain. And instead of incorporating that experience into your long-term memory, it gets trapped in your short-term repetitive memory. Stick around to the end of the video and I'm going to teach you how to get that out of your short-term and into your long-term. But the second thing that your mind is trying to accomplish is processing your identity. Whenever we get into these embarrassing and shameful situations, it usually happens due to a huge conflict between the way that we see ourselves and the way that we behave. For example, maybe you had an outburst of rage that you feel really guilty and ashamed about. In your mind, your concept of yourself, you're not an angry, vindictive, spiteful, or vengeful person. That's not how you think of yourself. But then you did something that was aggressive, angry, vengeful, spiteful. And so your mind is stuck because here's how I think of myself, but this is how I behaved. These two things don't align. And so it becomes this continual conflict that replays over and over in your mind as a repetitive thought when you're trying to go to bed. Finally, number three, your brain is hardwired for relationships, and anything that threatens your ability to be safe in your relationships is going to be on constant repeat inside of your head. It's like a broken record that just goes round and round because human beings develop our identity in relationships, need relationships for safety just from an evolutionary and biological standpoint. And in order to feel happy, safe, and to procreate and keep the generations going, we need those relationships. So relationships are hardwired in every part of our psyche and even our physical. So if you did something that was embarrassing, unsettling, or shameful, you're going to be thinking about that quite a lot because your brain's saying, hey, this threatened our safety in our future. We need to figure out what to do about this and how to process this so we can make sure this never happens again. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but what do we do about it? The overarching idea is that you have to stop fighting with yourself. There are 3 very important ways that you can do this starting today, but the overarching idea, the package that I'm going to present this to you is that you have to stop fighting with yourself. Anytime that you start to push away, ignore, or repress feelings and emotions that happen inside of you, I guarantee those things are going to become bigger. And this is just a basic fact of psychology. It's kind of like reverse psychology, but on yourself. I want to not think about this thing. As soon as I say that, I'm going to think about it more because your brain doesn't work in negatives. So as soon as you say, don't do X, you're going to do X. So the moment that you start to push out those thoughts and feelings about what you're embarrassed about, you instantly increase the intensity of them. And by pushing against things, you're adding psychic energy to it as well. And this is not like metaphysical, it's just a psychology fact. The more energy you put into something, whether it's positive or negative, your brain doesn't care. It's just going to increase that topic inside of your life. Now, there's 3 important ways that I want to share with you to start doing this right away. And number 1 is recognize the message that your brain is trying to send you. If you are reminiscing over something, that is a topic in your life that still holds emotional weight. It still holds baggage and it has been unprocessed. So number 1 is just recognize, okay, hey, this is fine. My brain is trying to help me out. It's trying to make me aware of an area in my life that I have not processed or worked through enough yet. If I had worked through it enough, my mind still might think about it, but it's not going to be obsessive, repetitive, and cause me not to get the sleep that I need. That's a huge warning sign. When something starts to enter into your life and not allow you to do the things and accomplish the goals that you want, that's a big flag. Why do we push that away? We need to focus more on that and give it the attention it deserves so we can box it up, put it away, and store it into long-term memory. And this very much connects with the rehearsal reason for why it comes in your brain. It's rehearsing because it hasn't been processed. Number 2 is embrace it. The more that you push away from something, the more that it's going to become a big part of your life. So if you start to embrace it, you're going to shrink its effect. If you had an angry outburst and that's shameful and guilty for you, embrace that. Hey, I have anger problems inside of me. I have anger inside of me that hasn't been vented or expressed, and it built up to the point where I exploded and I looked like a fool. That time that you asked that cute person out and it didn't go well and you stumbled over yourself and you made yourself look like a fool, embrace that. Like, hey, okay, I'm not as smooth as I really thought I was. This is a part of my identity, point number 2, that I have to accept and learn to work with. A lot of us want to think of ourselves as being perfect. A lot of us want to think of ourselves as not having any negative characteristics. But the fact of the matter is, everybody has negative characteristics. Everybody stumbles over their words. Everybody has anger. Everybody can be spiteful and vengeful. Everybody can make mistakes in judgment and not see the future in the way that it should have been seen. If you struggle to accept that part of being a human, you're really going to have a tough time ever getting anything done. So instead of trying to run away from something that is natural for everybody, embrace it and be like, yes, I get angry sometimes. Yes, I do this. Not giving yourself permission, but by accepting that, you can start to take steps to put in place things that handle that in a more appropriate way. If you stumble over your words, you just laugh at yourself, say, sorry, hey, I'm really embarrassed to talk to you. I think you're really good looking. Would you like to have lunch sometime? It's kind of cute. Like, it can even be endearing. Or you get angry, you go back to that person, you apologize. Hey, I had an angry outburst. I'm really working on that. That's my fault. I take responsibility for it. And there you go. You don't have to feel so guilty and ashamed and replay it. You're accepting it, incorporating it into your life, and then moving on. And finally, the third thing is share it with somebody else. Remember, that greatest number 3 point is that we feel very threatened when we don't feel like we fit in. So the best thing to do is to confront that lie that you're telling yourself of, hey, if anybody knew about this thing, I wouldn't fit in. Now, you have to have good friends. You have to have a good network. And I encourage you to find those and find good friends if you don't have them already. But when you find a good friend and you say, hey, I would like to share something with you. I have an embarrassing memory or a shameful moment that I just need to get off my chest. By sharing that, by confronting it and allowing someone to love you and care for you in that moment, it finally relieves your mind of having to carry that weight with you all the time. This is where therapy becomes such a great tool because a good therapist won't judge you, they won't shame you, and they won't get rid of you just because you tell them a part of your past. And that may be a great and safe way to start this process of realizing that, hey, just because I make mistakes doesn't mean that I'm a threat, doesn't mean that I'm threatened by society, and doesn't mean that I won't ever fit in with my friend group and with my peers. The more that you can accept it with yourself, the more likely you are to be able to share that with others and to be able to make peace with your place in the world. And that's really why your mind is doing this. It wants to solve this problem, but you're fighting against it instead of working with it. Remember, your mind's not against you. It's just misunderstood. And I hope that this video has kind of helped you understand what's going on and helped you take some steps to solving this problem in your life. If you like this kind of information and you want to learn more about your mental health and about dreams and sleep, hit subscribe down below. And listen, everybody says that, but please just take a second, hit the subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. I'm trying hard to grow on YouTube, and I want to share this information with as many people as I possibly can for free online. And by subscribing, it shows more people that there's good information here that will help their lives get better too. So it may seem small for you, but take that moment, hit subscribe, turn on the bell and notifications, and like the video. You're doing a wonderful thing for me and for everybody else who might come across this video and will make their lives better. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.